So today what we're going to talk about is the next section, which is talking about degrees and radians of angles. You guys spent a lot of time back in geometry studying angles, and the measurement that you used in geometry was just the measurement of degrees. There's another measurement that you can use to calculate angles, and that's radians, and that's what we're going to look at today. So just to review a little bit from geometry, when we talk about an angle, remember an angle, it consists of two rays and a common vertex. So that's what a rays consists of. Now when we look at our angles, we're going to be looking at them in our coordinate plane. So we have special names for the two rays of an angle. So first of all, an angle will have what we call an initial side, and that is the ray that is on the positive x-axis. The other ray is what we call the terminal side, and that is the ray that rotates to form the measurement, to form the angle. So the initial side is planted, it's not going to move. In geometry, you only focused on positive angles. However, we're going to actually look at positive and negative angle measurements. A positive angle is an angle whose terminal side rotates in a counterclockwise direction. So for example, we take a look at a positive angle. My initial side is always planted on the positive x-axis. So this is my initial side. My terminal side, if it's a 0-degree angle measurement, then the initial side and my terminal side, the two rays would be right on top of each other. But the terminal side will rotate around. So for example, I'll rotate it in a counterclockwise direction. This is how I know I would have a positive angle measurement. And you have to show the direction that this angle is rotating so that we know whether you're dealing with a positive or negative angle measurement. So this ray is my terminal side. Now, if I'm dealing with a negative angle measurement, the only difference between a positive and negative angle measurement is the direction of the rotation. So this is going to rotate in a clockwise direction. So again, there's my initial side, still planted on the positive x-axis. And notice I'm going to put my terminal side in almost the same exact place as I did to represent the positive angle measurement. But to move in a clockwise direction, I'm going to rotate in this direction right here. So you can see the difference. It has to all go by the direction. That's why it's critical that you show the direction when you are sketching your angles. Okay, so just some vocabulary. When we talk about standard position, we will always sketch our angles in standard position. And what that means, it's an angles whose vertex is at the origin and the initial side is the positive x-axis. So these two examples of the angles that I sketched is an example of angles that are in standard position. We also have a special vocabulary word called quadrantal. A quadrantal angle, again, you're still looking at angles in standard position, but the terminal side actually falls on an axis. So for example, a 90 degree, a 180, a 360, all would be called a quadrantal angle. So now we're just going to practice sketching angles in standard position and then tell me what quadrant the angle lies or if it's a quadrantal. So when you're thinking about your coordinate plane, here's 0 degrees, here's 90 degrees, and of course, if it's a linear angle, it's 180. Well, 180 plus 90 is going to give me 270 degrees. And then if I make one complete rotation, I'm going to make 360 degrees, which will actually put me in exactly the same position as 0 degrees. And we have a special name for those kinds of angles, which we'll talk about in another section. So to sketch 55 degrees, so you'll always show me your x and y axis. Again, here's my initial side always planted on the positive x-axis. So I know in quadrant 1 we'll have angles between 0 and 90 degrees. So I know 55 degrees will be a little bit more than halfway. So again, this is an example of how you can sketch a 55-degree angle. This is not enough. You've got to show me the direction because I don't know if it's going to be a positive or a negative angle measurement. So you must always show me the direction. So this is obviously going to have the terminal side in quadrant 1. So to sketch an angle of 280 degrees, again, here's my initial side. I know down here by the negative y-axis is 270, so I need to go another 10 degrees. So I'm going to make my terminal side pretty close to that negative y-axis. And again, it's a positive angle measurement, so I need to show that that direction is in a counterclockwise direction. And you can see your terminal side is located in quadrant 4. So 425 degrees. Well, as I mentioned, one complete rotation is 360 degrees. So to show an angle when you sketch it that's greater than 425 degrees, what you need to do is show, again, here's my initial side, you need to show that one complete revolution, and then you need to figure out how many more degrees you need to go after the 360. So what you're simply going to do is just subtract 360 degrees from 425 degrees. 425 minus 360 is going to give me 65 degrees. So after I make my one complete revolution, I need to go another 65 degrees, which I know is going to be up here in quadrant 1. So you can see that this terminal side ends up in quadrant 1. So like I said, you just subtract out that 360. Sometimes you may have to make more than one revolution. Sometimes it's going to be an angle greater than 720, so you'd have to show 2 circles to show that particular angle measurement. So negative 180 degrees. Again, here's my initial side. Again, I know a 180 degree angle is actually a linear angle, so I know that my terminal side is actually going to be located on the negative x-axis. But because it's a negative angle measurement, when I show the direction, I have to show this clockwise rotation. That's the only difference between sketching those positive and negative angle measurements. Okay? So if you're thinking of negative angle measurements, think of this as 0 degrees. This would be your negative 90 degrees. This would be your negative 180. This would be your negative 270 degrees. So when you're trying to sketch negative angle measurements, that labeling of those quadrants may help you in that respect. Okay? So that's how we're going to sketch angles.